You guys have probably heard of the phrase, happy wife, happy life. It's said at so many weddings. I think when I started going to weddings, it was literally said at every wedding. Maybe except for one or two. It's a very popular phrase, and I'm going to be so honest right now. I cannot stand that phrase. I can't stand it. When I first heard it, I thought it was funny. I laughed. I applauded. Oh, so funny, so funny. But then the more I heard it and the more I thought about it, the more I realized this is actually such a terrible phrase. Why do we say this? Like, why? How did this ever get popular? And here are a couple of reasons why the phrase to me is so cringeworthy and why I do take issue with it. Number one, happy wife, happy life. The implicit message is that only one person's happiness in that marriage matters. The wife's happiness. The implicit message is the husband's happiness either doesn't matter or it's deprioritized. Or maybe it's even, the wife's happiness at the expense of the husband's happiness. Whatever the case is, it's not a good message. In a marriage, especially if you want a Christ-centered, biblically based, God-centered, if you just want a good marriage, honestly. And I do. Who doesn't, right? Who doesn't want a good, healthy marriage? I do believe marriage is a holy union. I do believe it's a gift from God. I do believe it's supposed to represent something beautiful and profound and even divine. And that phrase, to me, doesn't serve that purpose. To just focus on and prioritize one person's happiness, to be honest, in any relationship, it's unfair, it's not loving, it's lopsided. That's just not healthy. There might be some boundary issues, maybe some codependency issues, maybe some emotional baggage stuff. I mean, again, to prioritize one person's happiness at the expense of the other person, that doesn't make for a successful relationship in any way, shape, or form. And it doesn't serve the purpose of a man and a woman coming together, husband and wife, to become one, being equally yoked. It doesn't serve that purpose. In fact, it seems to either, again, diminish or deprioritize or completely dismiss the happiness of the other person, the husband, who, by the way, is the other part of the equation in this relationship. And another reason why I do take issue with that phrase is it sends another signal, another message that I don't think we want or should intend for it to send. And that message is that one person's happiness, the wife's happiness, it's all the responsibility of the other person, of the husband, right? The message, the signal is, in a way, like, husband, you're responsible for the wife's happiness. The message kind of is happy wife, meaning make sure the wife is happy, because if she's not, then guess what? You won't have a happy life. Which, to start putting that kind of obligation and responsibility on somebody, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship, even parent-child, any kind of close relationship, to make my happiness someone else's responsibility, that's super dangerous and that's super unhealthy. And not only that, but then to give somebody that much power over you, meaning if the husband doesn't satisfy or make his wife happy, essentially, then he doesn't get to live a happy life. They don't have a happy life. To give someone that much power, that's also incredibly unhealthy. That's like two powerless people coming together. Which, how many of you guys know that is not a recipe for a good marriage? That is not a recipe for a healthy, successful, lifelong marriage. You need two powerful people coming together, not two disempowered, powerless people coming together. My happiness, my inner life, that's my responsibility. And that's between me and God and the Holy Spirit and Jesus. Like, that's my responsibility. The other person, whether it's my husband, my best friend, they don't own and they're not responsible for my happiness. Of course, if you're in a loving relationship, you guys will naturally, I hope, prioritize and cherish and care for and prefer one another. But again, that phrase, happy wife, happy life, that doesn't help the husband and it doesn't help the wife. It hurts everyone all around. And even though it's not direct and the message is sort of implicit, it's not helpful. And I think it's actually pretty detrimental and even antagonistic to the vision and the goal of having a God-centered, biblically based, healthy, lifelong, successful marriage between two powerful people who are equally yoked. Anyway, why am I sharing this? The reason why I'm sharing this is I just want us to think about this. I do believe words and language are so important. They're more important than I think we give them credit for. Words and language help to shape society. They shape our belief system. They shape our thoughts, our opinions. I mean, when I was a kid, maybe you guys have heard of this nursery rhyme, but I would hear this nursery rhyme that would go, "Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can't hurt me." And now that I'm an adult and I think about that rhyme, I'm like, what in the world? Like, what are we teaching kids? Like, this is so not true. Actually, I would say words hurt me just as much, if not more, than just quote unquote sticks and stones. A lot of times we remember words, right? We remember what somebody said. We remember how they made us feel. We remember that thing somebody said that really hurt. Words are really meaningful. All that to say, again, if you believe, as I do, that marriage is a beautiful gift, a holy gift from God, a holy union, two separate people, a man and a woman becoming husband and wife, two becoming one. They really become one unit. They really demonstrate a sense of unity, the way the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit demonstrate unity. And it's supposed to represent something really beautiful and even reflect something about God. I mean, if you believe all those things, then I just want us to think about, does that phrase, happy wife, happy life, does it facilitate that purpose? Does it facilitate God's plan for marriage? Does it facilitate having that holy union? Does it facilitate two becoming one? Or is it actually detrimental to two becoming one? Is it actually hurtful? Is it actually negatively impacting and even diminishing what marriage is meant to be? Throwing it out there as food for thought. I know some people might already disagree with me. I'm sure some people are like, dude, it's just a joke, line up. But again, I think words are much more powerful and meaningful than we give them credit for. And the thing about things that are funny or comedy is that there's usually some element of truth in it. It might be absurd. It might be nonsensical, but the reason why it's funny is because you're kind of poking fun at, you're like making fun of, you're exaggerating like a nugget of truth. And in that phrase, happy wife, happy life, what's the nugget of truth there that's being reflected in society? I mean, this is a whole entire other post, but for example, there's been talk for a long time now about the declining rates of people wanting to get married and even like rising divorce rates and about men checking out and about infidelity and about just all kinds of relational baggage, relational issues, just a lot of brokenness. And I wonder if from the very first day, from the day you get married, at your reception, if the unanimous sentiment is happy wife, happy life, what kind of precedent is that setting? What kind of foot are you starting off on? Again, you might think, oh, it's just a joke. It's just funny. It's, everyone says it. Just because everyone says it doesn't mean that you should say it. Doesn't mean that it's right. Doesn't mean that it's true or that it should be true. Again, it's like, is that phrase serving the vision, the purpose of the kind of marriage that you want to have? Is that phrase serving the purpose, the vision of the union, the holy union, hopefully the lifelong union that you want to have? And I'm not just saying this for the benefit of men. I'm saying this for the benefit of women too. I don't think that phrase serves women either. I think it's hurtful all around. Anyway, again, it's just food for thought. And I just hope that it gave, whether you're single, dating, married, whatever your status is, that it just gave you some food for thought, something to chew on. All right, I'm going to end it here. And maybe I'll just also encourage you not only to chew on it and think about it, but if you feel like it maybe hit something in your heart, maybe take it up with God and pray about it. Maybe see what God has to say about it. Don't just take my word for it. Take it up with God and see what he has to say. All right. Thanks for listening. God bless. Bye.